10 plus foods to lower insulin resistance.
Got it. And I found it super helpful how it starts by breaking down the different nutrients, water, carbs, proteins, fats, and how they affect insulin. It really sets the foundation.
It really does. And the core idea, the main principle from the video, it boils down to something pretty clear.
Which is?
Basically, foods that work best for managing insulin resistance. They're usually high in healthy fats, fiber, and protein.
Okay.
And crucially, lower in those refined starches and sugars. That balance seems to be the real key.
Makes sense. So, okay, let's dig into those macronutrients then, how they affect us. The video starts with water, which is the easy one, I guess.
Yeah, water's simple, no insulin response. Good to remember that.
Then carbohydrates. This is where it gets a bit more complex.
Absolutely. Because you've got different types of carbs. There are starches and sugars, of course.
Uh-huh.
But the video makes this great distinction. It talks about whole, unprocessed carbs versus what it calls naked carbs.
Naked carbs, I like that. So like white flour, white sugar.
Exactly. Those processed refined ones, they cause the biggest, fastest spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Think candy, pop, they just flood your system.
Right, the obvious culprits.
Yeah.
But then there's fiber, also a carb, but different.
Very different. Fiber itself doesn't really trigger insulin directly. Its job is more like traffic control in your gut.
Okay, how so?
It slows down digestion, slows down absorption. So if you eat fiber with other carbs, it helps smooth out that whole insulin response from the meal. Less of a sharp peak.
Ah, okay, like putting the brakes on a little bit.
That's a great way to put it. A more gradual release of sugar into the blood. Much better for your system.
Got it. Now what about protein?
Protein. The video says it causes a moderate insulin response. Not zero, like water, and not super high, like those naked carbs, but somewhere in the middle.
Moderate, okay. And the last one, fats.
Fats are interesting. Generally, the immediate impact on insulin is minimal. Pretty negligible right after eating.
That sounds good.
And this is but the type of fat matters hugely over time.
So not all fats are created equal in the long run.
Definitely not. The video specifically calls out trans fats and those heavily processed omega-6 fatty acids. You find them in lots of refined vegetable and seed oils. Those can actually contribute to insulin resistance indirectly down the line. So quality is key. Healthy fats, good. Processed stuff, not so much.
Right, makes sense. Quality over just fat.
Precisely. And understanding this leads nicely into the idea of net carbs. The video brings this up.
Net carbs. Yeah, you hear that term a lot, especially with low-carb diets. How does the video define it?
It's pretty simple, actually. Total carbohydrates minus the fiber.
So you just subtract the fiber grams.
Exactly. Because the fiber part isn't really digested and doesn't spike your blood sugar in the same way.
Okay.
So the thinking is those leftover net carbs, the starches and sugars, those are what primarily affect blood sugar and insulin. It helps you focus on the carbs that have the biggest impact.
Right, focusing on the main players. That makes practical sense. Okay, so beyond individual nutrients, the video talks about meal structure, putting it all together.
Yeah, and this is really important. We don't usually eat just one thing, do we? Meals are combinations. And how we combine foods massively impacts insulin response and, crucially, how full and satisfied we feel. Satiety.
So what's the recommended structure?
The video suggests aiming for at least 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal.
30 grams. Okay, that's quite specific.
It is. Plus, around 10 grams of fiber from whole foods per meal, aiming for about 30 grams total daily.
Right.
And including healthy fats in there, too.
And the benefit of that combo, protein, fiber, healthy fats.
Well, it keeps blood sugar and insulin much more stable, no wild swings, and it really helps you feel full for longer, which means less temptation to snack between meals.
Reducing the snacking. And that probably helps with insulin sensitivity too, right? Fewer demands on the system.
Exactly. It creates this positive feedback loop, stable energy, better metabolic health over time. It all connects.
Cool. So with that foundation, the video then gets into specific foods.
It does. Specific recommendations that fit these principles, starting with some animal-based foods.
Okay. And the general idea with animal foods is high protein, low carb.
Pretty much. They're often very concentrated sources of protein, naturally contain few, if any, carbs. Ideal for this purpose. First up, wild-caught salmon.
Salmon. Always hear good things about salmon.
Oh, yeah. And the video breaks it down. A 5-ounce serving, 0 carbs, a solid 31 grams of protein, plus 18 grams of those healthy fats.
Wow, that's a powerhouse.
It really is. Around 292 calories, and a great tip they shared. Buy it in bulk. Freeze portions. Makes it way more affordable.
Good practical advice. What's next?
Chicken breast, a real staple.
Can't go wrong with chicken breast usually.
Right. 4 ounces, 0 carbs, again, 35 grams of protein, only about 5 grams of fat, under 200 calories. And as the video points out, perfect for meal prepping.
Yeah, cook up a batch, use it all week. Smart.
Then there's grass-fed ground beef.
Grass-fed specifically.
They mentioned grass-fed, yeah. Often linked to a better fatty acid profile, a 6-ounce serving. 0 carbs, 32 grams protein, a bit higher in fat at 26 grams, around 360 calories.
Okay. Still fits the high-protein, low-carb profile.
Definitely. Eggs are on the list, too. So versatile.
Love eggs. How do they stack up?
3 eggs give you just 2 net carbs, 19 grams of protein, 16 grams of fat, about 223 calories.
19 grams of protein.
Okay.
That's good, but maybe not quite the 30-gram target on its own.
Good point. And the video addresses that. You can easily boost it, right? Add some meat, maybe some beans, edamame, even cheese alongside the eggs to hit that 30-gram mark.
Combining foods, right? Smart. Yeah. Any dairy.
Yep. Full-fat Greek yogurt gets a mention, 3/4 of a cup. 5 net carbs, 15 grams protein, 9 grams fat. Great for smoothies.
Full fat noted. Not the low-fat, sugary kind.
Exactly. And cottage cheese, too. 1/2 cup, 4 net carbs, 12 grams protein, 5 grams fat. Just over 100 calories.
So quite a few animal-based options.
Yeah, and they stress these are just examples. There's a more detailed guide they link to, the Ultimate Food Guide.
Good to know. It gives a solid starting point, though. Lots of protein, minimal carbs.
For sure. Variety is still important, but these are great foundations. Now, shall we look at the plant-based side?
Yes, let's do that. What plant foods help lower insulin resistance according to the video?
Okay, leading the charge is avocado. Can't beat avocado, right?
It's everywhere. And for good reason.
Totally. Half an avocado, just 1 net carb, but 5 grams of fiber, plus 10 grams of healthy fat, around 114 calories.
1 net carb, wow. And 5 grams of fiber is pretty decent.
It is, and it's so adaptable. The video had a cool tip. Freeze chunks for smoothies. Makes them creamy without eating sugary bananas or anything.
Ooh, I like that. Freezing avocado. Clever. What else?
Olives. Green olives specifically mentioned. 1/2 cup. 0 net carbs.
0. Nice.
Yeah. 0 grams fiber, 1 gram protein, 12 grams fat. A good savory fatty snack or addition to meals.
Okay, olives then.
Edamame. Soybeans. Great plant-based protein source like tofu.
Yeah. Edamame.
Yeah.
In pods or shelled.
The video talks about steamed edamame, 1/2 cup shelled, 7 net carbs, 3 grams fiber, 7 grams protein. But it also highlights dry roasted edamame, 1/3 of a cup of that. Even better stats in some ways. 3 net carbs, 6 grams fiber, 14 grams protein. Great for snacking or salads.
Dry roasted.
Yeah.
Interesting. More concentrated, maybe?
Seems like it. Then, of course, nuts and seeds. Always good contenders.
Which ones did they feature?
Almonds. 1/4 cup, 3 net carbs, 4 grams fiber, 7 grams protein, 18 grams fat.
Okay.
Walnuts too. 1/4 cup. 2 net carbs, 2 grams fiber, 4 grams protein, 19 grams fat. Lots of healthy fat there.
That combo of fat, fiber, protein, and nuts and seeds, that must be key for blood sugar control and feeling full.
Absolutely. It's a winning combination. The video also mentions shelled hemp hearts, great for protein, and chia seeds.
Chia seeds, yeah. Packed with fiber, aren't they?
Tons of fiber. 3 tablespoons. Only 2 net carbs, but 10 grams of fiber. Plus 5 grams protein, 9 grams fat.
Wow, 10 grams of fiber is huge.
It is. They even mention a keto roll recipe using chia seeds that you can make and freeze. Another practical tip.
Nice. Okay, what about fruit? People often worry about sugar in fruit.
Good question. The video specifically recommends berries. They're generally lowest in sugar and highest in fiber among fruits.
Which berries are best?
Blackberries and raspberries get the top spots. Strawberries are good too, but those two are highlighted.
Okay. Why them specifically?
Look at the numbers. 1 cup of blackberries, 6 net carbs, but 8 grams of fiber. Raspberries. 7 net carbs, also 8 grams of fiber.
8 grams of fiber in a cup of berries. That's amazing. That
Right.
really offsets the sugar content.
Exactly. That high fiber content is what makes them so supportive for blood sugar management.
Makes sense. Anything else on the plant side?
Yes, a big category. Non-starchy vegetables.
Ah, the leafy greens and things.
Pretty much. The video gives a simple rule. If it's green, it's probably non-starchy. So lettuce, spinach, bell peppers, cucumber, zucchini, you get the idea.
Right, load up on those.
Definitely. They're full of water, fiber, vitamins, minerals, all with very little impact on blood sugar and insulin. They should be a huge part of your plate.
So it seems like a really consistent message across all these foods.
It really is.
Okay, so if we were to wrap up the main takeaway from this whole deep dive into the video, what would it be?
I think the key message is crystal clear. If you're aiming to lower insulin resistance, focus on whole foods.
Right.
Prioritize foods naturally high in fiber, healthy fats, and protein. And at the same time, be really mindful about limiting those refined starches and sugar.
Simple on the surface, but powerful.
Exactly. And it's all based on the insights from that 10 plus foods to lower insulin resistance video by Dr. Morgan Nolte over on the Zivli YouTube channel.
And for folks who want even more ideas, there's that ultimate food guide mentioned.
Yep, with over 80 foods. They link it in the video description. www.zivli.com, Ultimate Food Guide. Looks like a really comprehensive resource.
Definitely worth checking out if this topic resonates.
For sure. Lots